CFFC 126 goes down October 13th, Friday the 13th, and fighting on the card, my man, Brandon Lopez. Brandon, how we doing, dog?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to talk to you. And I did just mention Friday the 13th. You like those
Yeah.
vibes at all, or a little
Let
interesting?
me just hey, hold on. I'm getting a little sneak peek. We got a little.
I love it.
Now a little sneak peek. Yeah, we're shooting a little promo vid here in the next couple of hours. So yeah, first to see it right now. Just the first one to see it. So
Now, does Cage Fury let you wear that on the walkout? Could that happen?
I think they do, honestly. And yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like definitely shooting a promo vid with it. But I most likely, if I could figure out, the whole vibe with the intro, I might wear it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, we'll stay tuned, man. Excited to see what you got in store. And
Cool.
switching tones here a little bit. We're all smiles,
Yep.
but I got to, right off the bat, I do want to ask, man, because last time out, Julio Cesar Chavez, very tough fight. Didn't go your way. UD against you. I just kind of want to know your thoughts, because that was your first loss since 2022, man.
Yeah. So I'm not the one to do the excuse thing or anything like that. It was just kind of a perfect storm of things before, my original opponent backing out about 2.5 weeks before the fight. We didn't know a lot about Julio Cesar. Hats off to him. Like I said, yes, he's a tough son of a bitch for sure. But it's one of those things. We got the short notice opponent, not knowing much about it. That was the first thing. And then the second thing that happened the week before the fight, I haven't told anybody about this really, but I ended up getting a staph infection which led to pretty bad like fever. I was out of it the week before the fight. I was in bed. I had to pump on some antibiotics literally the week before the fight. I had about 4 days after getting off the antibiotics to try to get my body back to, where it was before getting on the antibiotics. And those things just kill your conditioning. So we had about 4 days. It was one of those things like, do I, get out, back out of the fight, but I'm not one to back out of fights, so I kind of just went along with it. But, like I said, hats off to Julio Cesar. He came game opponent, very tough guy, but my cardio wasn't where it should have been. And like I said, he was just, real tough guy, and I couldn't really push through and, get the dub that I needed. But, it is what it is. It's the fight game, I accepted the fight. So, it is what it is. But at the same time, it sucks, because I was really, I was on that 2-fight win streak. This was a big fight. I was going to go off to fight, call for a title. So, this kind of sets me back a little bit. But, like I said, I took the fight. I decided to take the fight. So no excuses there. He came to fight. He had a good game plan, tough stand-up fighter, and, move on forward now, so.
And, which way has this gone for you? Like, has this loss motivated you and made you extra hungry, or has it been kind of the opposite? Like, you're thrown off now, the streak's over, you don't really know what's next type of deal?
Losses, that you kind of learn from them, you take the loss, you learn, and you just, get stronger from it. So I don't really feel discouraged in any way. I feel bummed out all the perfect storm that happened beyond my control before the fight, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, all that crap happened to me. This sucks. No, just get back on the horse. Like I said, took this fight and, get back to the winning ways, let's go for a 5-win streak, 10-win streak, it sucks. Yeah. That little setback, but, a little bump on the road. This is the fight game, you're not here to freaking, cry about your losses. You just get back and you get another fight and, get the ball rolling again.
Because last interview, when we were talking, I said, hey, man, what's next for 2023, 2024? You're like, take a couple months off. Maybe I'll get back in there at the end of the year. And now you got the quick turnaround to right the wrong, get back on track before the end of the year. So it's almost like that loss never happened. And you're taking on Jesus Hernandez. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent? And am I kind of correct in saying that's the plan, reset end of the year, going to 2024 fresh?
Right. Exactly. Kind of, going to 2024 with a win. and pick back off where I left off. As far as my opponent, I have respect for the guy. He's fought on every card as me. He's from,
Yeah.
not too far from where I'm from. He's up north, and he's always been a stand-up guy. So I don't have any negativity, any negative thoughts to say about the guy. At the end of the day, we're gonna get in that cage and we're gonna, scrap it out. So all respect to him. At the end of the day, it's all business. Shake hands, have a beer after the fight, but I'm getting my win. So it doesn't matter who it's against. So I'm here ready to get the win, go into the new year with that dub, and carry where I left off.
And you just said you shared cards with him before. You've seen him fight before. I'm sure you've watched tape and done your diligence. So what have you seen from him stylistically? How do you guys feel like this is going to match up?
Well, I just got to make sure not to get soccer kicked. No, stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for me. He's a tough striker. Who seems pretty well rounded, but nothing that it's going to catch me by surprise. I'm ready for wherever this fight takes place. On the feet, the grappling, of course. Either way it goes, I'm ready. So we're just preparing for anything. So.
And then, just doing my journalistic duties for the fans. Any sort of prediction out of you?
Definitely, I'm trying to finish the fight, whether it's a TKO or KO, wherever it goes. If we stay standing, I think I can get it done on the feet. If we take it to the ground, I'll finish it there. But I am, I'm not saying I'm going in there looking for the finish right off the jump, but I really do see the finish. Different ways I can get that finish, and looking to go out there, get that win. If I get it quicker, good on me. Because like I said, I'm this new year, I'm coming out the gates. This is the last fight of the year. It's been a busy year, but next year, I'm gonna do bigger things. I got goals to do. Things to accomplish. So.
And then as far as camp, has anything changed after this? Like anything back to the drawing boards at all, or business as usual?
Business as usual. This one's at 70, this fight. So for me, that lets me I kind of bulked up a little bit.
Bulking,
I was going down, bulking it up, I've seen you've been working too, brother. I've seen you getting in the jits and all that. Yeah.
We're trying, bro.
But yeah, bulking it up, and 70 is just an easier weight cut for me in general. So I could put that mass on, and I'm not sacrificing too much muscle like as if I was going to 65 or 55. This weight cut's a lot easier. I diet down, so it's a lot easier on the body for me. So when your body's feeling strong, you're all the way through the training camp, you're feeling good. You don't get that weight cut weakness that some fighters get right before the fights. I feel strong as ever now. Weight's really good, and I'm just gonna float right into this fight, and stay feeling good. So.
And then, are you still at Kaizen with Elon Cruz and Vince
Correct,
McGinnis?
still at Kaizen. Yep, Vince McGinnis and Elon Cruz. It's one of the up and coming gyms in the Tampa Bay area. That the people that they're generating out of there, a lot of amateur fighters that are in the next year, I'd say, are going to be in the pro ranks, and you're going to hear a lot about this gym. They're already doing the thing on the amateur level, taking out, the local organizations. They're going and getting belts and stuff like that, kickboxing and MMA. So it's good to be a part of that, community now of all these young fighters with that fire, wanting to get to the pros. So me being a pro, I like being in there with those young kids that are hungry, so it keeps me hungry. And then, like you said, we got Elon Cruz. He's doing his thing. So, we're just a hungry gym, just building and getting stronger every day. So, yeah.
And then just working with Elon and Vince and having them in your corner, I'm kind of just wondering, like, after your last fight, what was their sort of reaction and, like, advice to you? I don't know about immediately afterwards, but just all in all.
Right. It's, I was pretty disappointed. I'm not going to say that there's always disappointment when we have those expectations on, what we're going to do from that win, and we're going to go from there. And then when you get that minor setback, they basically, Vince after the fight just, told me to keep my head up. I was pretty bummed, walking back to my hotel room, just kind of like thinking about everything. But he said, you fought great, keep your head up. He knows what I was going through the week before and all that stuff, like, where a lot of people would have backed down and backed out of the fight, so all that stuff taken into consideration, you just got to keep the head up, and you can't, dwell on it, where a lot of fighters, get a loss like that. They're like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, put the gloves down, or, get sidetracked on some stuff. Whereas me, I was like, I took a few days off, well, I probably took like a few weeks off, honestly, just to get my head right, and then jump back in it, and, got my goals set right to where, they were before that loss. So, yeah.
And is it going to be those two coming with you in the corner again?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Awesome. That's the squad right there, man. And
that's the squad, man. Squad up in Tampa. Yep.
And we kind of been talking about this theme the whole interview, but like, does this change your plans at all? Or do you think, another win, you're right back where you were, that title picture's still in reach, the big leagues are still in reach? Like, where's your confidence and motivation at when it comes to the future of your career?
Honestly, the goals have always been the same. Like, from the time I started this fight game as an amateur, it was always to get to the biggest show. The UFC has always been the biggest show, but nowadays you see, PFL coming up. Yeah. PFL is a great organization because somebody like me that doesn't make a huge weight cut to make 70, you can fight more often. Whereas when you have that season, they do it like a season, and they fight a little more often, and then you go get into the season, make the playoffs, and then you get that milli when you win the belt. So when you got organizations like that, that's good money. Us fighters, we're all hungry, we work our asses off. We don't get a lot of money, in this regional scene, and we put in, just as much time. So when you have organizations like that are paying, fighters for their time, it's great to see. So yeah, my goal has always been to get to the UFC, but back then it was just kind of the UFC, and everything else was, playing catch up. Right. Nowadays we got, like I said, you got the PFLs, Bellator is doing its thing. So you have all these other organizations. So there's other opportunities where, yes, the UFC is, the top tier, but with, you don't have to necessarily be the undefeated fighter to get to the UFC. Now it's like, if you're a fighter with a lot of fights and they see you're grinding, you can get into these other organizations and make, if not more money than the UFC starting off. So, with that in mind, I'm kind of open to all that now. Whereas before it was just, I got to get to the UFC. Now it's like, well, I have options, so, the goal is still the same. Let's keep getting the wins on the record, beefing up that record. And now that resume is looking good. Now I can, have a portfolio to go to any of those organizations versus just the UFC, So,
and with this little, I don't know, we'll call it resurgence or whatever that you're about to go through, where do you see yourself this time next year? Like, how does your 2024 go down?
Man, this time next year, if it went as good as this year, staying as active as this year, I should be fighting in those PFL organizations, those bigger leagues, getting a real paycheck, So, we'll be having this interview, and, maybe I'll have some, be in a nicer house, not renting an apartment, you know what I'm saying? We hungry out here, So, hopefully my hard work pays off and I can get to those bigger leagues, and, get a family, take care of a family and stuff like that, have the money to do stuff like that, that I want to do. Because, we have all us fighters have this passion to fight, and we love it. If not, you wouldn't be doing it. I don't know anybody that would do a sport like this if they didn't love it. Yeah. But, it'd be nice to get a little return, some money in return for all the hard work that, we've put in. People put in the 6-8 years plus. It's time to get, paid back a little for all the hard work we do. So yeah, it'd be nice, by this time next year to, have a nice paycheck and, and be in a bigger organization. And I love CFFC. They've done so much for me. And like I said, this is a platform to the next, level. And hopefully by this time next year, I'm at that next level, So.
Well, hey, man, October 13th, that it all starts. And Brandon, before I get you out of here, dude, as always, I want to give you the opportunity because, you got a lot of fans waiting to hear from you, a lot of people watching this interview, and a bunch of people watching the card coming up who just want to know what you're doing, what you've been up to, and how you're feeling. So anything you'd like to say to everybody? If so, the mic is yours.
Yeah. So like I always say, you know, come out to now we're at the fairgrounds, way bigger capacity, you know. So no excuse not to get a ticket because it's, you know, it's not going to sell out this time. There's a lot of seats for everybody. It's a huge card. I think there's like 6 undercard, and then the main card is another like 6 fights. So huge card. I will tell you, me and Jesus, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna scrap. You know, he's always puts on a great fight. I always put on a great fight. So you know, I'm going for fight of the night. You know, we want to, you know, want the fans to want to watch this fight. So I'm trying to be on that highlight on UFC Fight Pass. When I look on that Instagram, I want to be the top highlight on there. So I'm always trying to put on a show for the fans. So everybody come out, support. You know, this is the time to support us now. When we're on the regional scene, you pay the $65 for the general admission, because when we're on the bigger leagues, it's not going to be $65. So get it now, you know, get it now. So looking forward to seeing everybody and putting on a show for everybody. That's it, man. And thank you to all my sponsors. Shout out to all my people that always support me. I'm not going to go on the list, but everybody that does support me, you know who you are. Very thankful, grateful for everybody. And of course, my coaching staff, Kaizen, you know, for sticking by me and getting me through the camps. You know, we're going to go out there and get that done. That's it.
And I'll link your social media so everybody can go check out your full support team and the behind the team journey. But Brandon, my man, thank you so much, dude. And ladies and gentlemen, he gave you a better outro than I can do. So just make sure you check it out. October 13th, CFFC 126, UFC Fight Pass. Brandon Lopez, kick some ass, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah.